Yeah, you welcome back to the statistic class 1. And in the previous video, we look at the measure of central tendency, where we look at the mean. We look at the median, and we also look at the mode as well. So this time around, we are moving to measure of dispersion, which some people also call measure of variability or measure of spread. And if you look at the data on your screen, you see that you are asked to find the variance and the standard deviation. So, of course, when you are talking about measure of dispersion, there are basically two widely used measure of dispersion, which is variance and standard deviation. There are other measure of dispersion like range, mean deviation, quarter deviation, coefficient of variance as well. So, but as far as this class is concerned, we only look at the variance and the standard deviation. Of course, when we look at it, you see that the variance will definitely come before standard deviation. So what is variance? The variance is the arithmetic mean of the square deviation from the mean. So when we get into the calculation, we look at that critically. Then variance is usually denoted with the small Greek letter called sigma square. Sigma square. It is usually denoted with sigma square. So let's look at it one after the other. Like I said, before you even say anything, I've talked about is being denoted with a sigma square. That is for variance. So anytime you see a sigma squares like this one is actually referring to as the variance. And of course, the square of that variance, once you square this variance, it becomes the standard word. When you square this variance, so this is now the standard deviation. So it means the squares of variance is what we refer to as what? Standard deviation. So when we look at it, let's look at it from the angles of, like I would say, there are two best way. You don't need to feel panic. You don't need to feel scared when you are looking at the formula. There are different approaches. One of the approaches that you may come into any, you are permitted to come into the examination hall with your 4-figure table, of course, which the formula is also inside. So when we are talking about, let's look at it from the angles of the variance. The formula is summation f into x minus what? The x bar all square, everything divided by summation f. I want to confirm if you can see this on my screen. Let me confirm if you can see this on my screen. Of course, you can see this on the screen. So if you can see this on the screen, so this is the formula for variance. So in going, if you want to look at the standard deviation now, it will just be equals the square of the variance is the standard deviation. And of course, the question says we should find the mean. Of course, there's no way you find the variance without looking at the mean first. So looking at it from the formula, there are some things you need. The first thing you need is that this question is actually talking about the numbers of absentees in a particular class. So of course, you know, when you talk about numbers of absentees, we're definitely talking about the numbers of days. So the numbers of the absentees is the class interval, so which is ranging from 0 to what? To 4. Let me rule this out. Then you move on to the next one, which is 5 to 9. Then you move away from there, 10 to 14. Then let's move away from there to 15 to 19. And of course, the last one is talking about the 20 to 24. Like I said, you don't need to cram the formula. It's a process. They've said the variance is summation f into x minus x bar. So that means the first thing you need to know is that you must first of all get your frequency, which is talking about the numbers of days, irrespective of whatever they give you. So which is 1, 5, 10, 9, and 5. So when you add all this together, let's add it together. 1 plus 5 Of course, that is 6. When you add this, that is 15. 15 plus this, 15 plus 10, that is 25 plus 5. So that means this, I'm going to split it down for you now. This summation f that we are talking about is just equals to what? 30. It's talking about the addition of the what? The frequency. So from there now, what is the next thing in the formula? When you look at the formula, you will need x, because it's talking about the values of x inside this place. So what is your x? The x simply means the midpoint. It simply means the midpoint. Your x is your what? Is your midpoint. And how do you get your midpoint? In the previous video, we've talked about getting the midpoint is just adding the lower class plus the what? The upper class. That is when you add this 0 plus 4 and look for the average. 0 plus 4 will give you 4 divided by 2. 4 divided by 2, so that is 0 plus 4 equals 4. Everything divided by 2, and that will give us what? 2. So when I move on to the second one, that will just be 5 plus 9 divided by 2. 5 plus 9, of course, that will give me 14. When you divide 14 divided by 2, that will give me what? 7. So you can see that this is 7, this is what? This is 2, this one is 7. Instead of you disturbing yourself in finding it, like I said in the previous video, you are getting the difference between the two midpoint as 5 because the class size is what? Is 5. And when you count the class 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, when that is 5. So if I come here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it means the class size is what? Is 5. So from there, I can keep on calculating my what? My midpoint by adding the class size to this. So if I add 5 to 7, if I add 5 to 7, that will give me what? 12. Isn't it? That is this plus this. 10 plus 14. Of course, that will give me 24. So 24 divided by 2 will give me 12. So if I add 5 to this again, that will give me 17. If I add 5 to 17, of course, that will give me what? 22. So that is my midpoint. So it means my midpoint is 2, 7, 12, 17, and what? And 22. So I've got the x. I've got the x. So what else did I need? I would need to get my x bar. If you remember in the previous video, when you say s bar, the s bar simply means the mean. S bar simply means mean. And mean is summation fx over what? Over summation f. So in that wise, that means you need to get your f multiplied by x. That is, you have to multiply these two together. So to get this place now, you have to get your what? Your fx. So in getting your fx, 1 multiplied by 2, that is 2. 5 multiplied by 7, 5 multiplied by 7, that is what? 35. Isn't it? So let's move on to this. 10 multiplied by 12, that is 120. So in case you are free to use your calculator, as you can see, you are not, there is no any examining body who will allow you to come in with your phone to do calculation. No, you can't. So let me move on to the next one. That's why I said statistics is a very easy thing. You can just do your calculation with that. So let me move on to the next one. 9 multiplied by 17, that will give me 153. So, and of course, the last one, that is 5 multiplied by 22, and that will give me 110. So at this juncture now, for me to get my mean, I need to add everything together. So let me add everything together. I'm going to add 2 plus 35 plus 120 plus 153 plus 110, and that will give me 420. I can reconfirm this. I can just try to reconfirm it. In exam, make sure you try to reconfirm your answer. I can do the calculation again, but because I've done it before, I know it is what? 120. So of course, at this point now, my mean, which is my x bar, is equals 420, is equals, let me write the formula, which is summation fx over summation f, which is equals to 420 to be divided by 30. So when you divide 420, like I said, you don't need to stress yourself, divided by 30. So that will give me 14. So it means my x bar is equals 14. So if my x bar is equals 14, And the formula says summation f into x minus x bar. That means I need to get my what? My x minus what? X bar. My x minus x bar. And what is my x? Of course, my x is what? Is 2 here. So that is 2 minus 14, which is my x bar. So when you take 14 away, this is 2 minus 14. So that means you have 2 naira and you owe 14. So the answer will be minus what? Minus 12. So moving on to the next one, that is 7 minus what? 14. And that will give me minus 7. The next one is what? 12 minus 14. And of course, that will give me what? Minus 2. So move on to the next one, 17 minus 14. When you take this away from this, it will give me what? 3. So moving on to the last one, 22 minus 14. That will give me, when you take that away, that will give me 8. Can you confirm that? So my x minus s bar is what? Is minus 12, minus 7, minus 2, 3, and 8. So from there now, look at the formula. The formula says summation f into x minus s bar all square. So that means I need to get my x minus s bar whole square. That is, I need to square this. So in squaring this, if you are coming in with a scientific calculator, that cannot give you stress. Just press minus 12 and you will look at your calculator, you will see square. When you press it, that will give you positive 144 if you are using the scientific calculator. So move on to the next one, 7 square. Okay, let me just assist you here. This place is simply means minus 12 all square, and that will give you 144. It can never give you negative because minus multiplied by minus will give you positive. So here too, minus 7 all square, and that will give you 49. Here too, minus 2 whole square, and that will give you 4. Here, 3 all square, that will give you 9. Here, 8 square, and that will give you 64. So at this junction now, you have got your x minus x bar all square. And we are almost through with the formula. We have gotten the whole things in this bracket. We have got this as well. So we are now moving to multiplying it with frequency. So here now is just for you to multiply it with what? With the frequency. So just multiply everything you have here, multiply by the frequency. So that will be, the first one will be, the frequency is 1 multiplied by 144. So 1 multiplied by 144, that is still the same thing as 144. So the next one is just 5 multiplied by 49. Next one, that is 10 multiplied by 4. Next one, 9 multiplied by 9. This is what I'm picking. This. So moving on to the last one, I'll pick 5 multiplied by 64. So let me calculate this out now. 9 multiplied by 9, that is 81. 10 multiplied by 4, that is 40. So let me move on to the one you think it is big, which is 5 multiplied by 49. And that will give me 245. Okay, so 10 multiplied by 4, 40. 9 multiplied by 9, 81. Then the last one is 5 multiplied by 64. And that will give me 320. So at this juncture now, I can clean, since I'm done with the mean, I can clean the mean and come to the original formula. So that means I have to get this, since I'm talking about summation of all these now. So I would need to say 144 plus 245 plus 40 plus 81 plus 320. So that will give me 830. You can confirm that that is 830. Like I said, you will need to do your calculation twice to be sure if what you are doing is right or not. So here now, my variance, which is talking about sigma what? Sigma square. I don't need to put it. Okay, I'm just putting it in. That is sigma square, which is equals summation f into x minus x bar all square. Everything divided by what? Summation f. And what is the whole story that I have here is 830 to be divided by the summation f, which is equal to what? 30. Can this go in each other? Can it go? Can it go divided by 30? So, and that will be giving me 27.66. You see that it will continue like that, 27.66. You can just take it to two significant figures. So 27.66. And of course, my standard deviation is just mean equals square of variance. And since I've got my variance, as 27.5, I'll just say square of what? 27.66. So what is square? Just go back to your calculator and just press square 27.66, and that will give me 5.25. That will give me 5.25, or approximately that will be, since I'm taking it to 6, that will be 5.26. So that is the final answer. So with this, I've been able to calculate mean, I've got my variance, and I've got my standard deviation. So that is how to calculate a mean deviation. So can we quickly look at the advantage? And like I said, under this video, you check under the video, you will see a picture. You see a pictures of what you can do to get this exercise you can do under this to get the values of this. So what are the advantage? Like I said, what are the advantage of your using a measure of what? Measure of dispersion. What are the advantage? What are the advantage? Why are we doing this kind of a thing? So we'll look at that in the next video. But before we move into the next video, like I said, let me just give a very small example for you to work on. But I will do that. I'll put that under this video. So thank you. If you find this video helpful, try and subscribe to this channel so that you get a notification anytime we have a video that can assist you, as well as make sure you share this with anyone that is having phobia in doing statistics. So thank you once again. So see you on the other side. The next video will be the next example. So I'm going to take another example similar to this now.